Namaste. We are in an international yoga festival with SEANE.
Hi. It's nice to see everyone. I wish I could physically see you. My name is SEANE Corn. I'm from the United States, and I live in California by way of New Jersey.
So, Sean, when the first yoga come in your life, when you heard about the yoga is something and you should learn about it, and you should share this wisdom to the world, and when is the first time you heard and you start practicing yoga in your life?
I started practicing yoga in around 1987, and I was living in New York City, and the people that I worked in a little restaurant called Life Cafe, and the owners were doing yoga. They went on to open the Jiva Mukti yoga centers throughout the world. First introduction. Then I started studying at the Shivananda, the Integral Yoga Center in New York City. And then I moved in around 1992 to Los Angeles so that I could study more, and eventually got a job working behind the desk as a receptionist at a yoga school called Yoga Works, and did my first teacher's training in 1994, and have been teaching yoga ever since.
And if you speak about the yoga, how much yoga changed your life?
Yoga changed my life dramatically. In different ways at different times. In the beginning, when I first started yoga, it was very much just for my physical body, to become more conscientious about my habits. It helped me not to want to do things like drink or smoke cigarettes or do drugs, eventually becoming a vegetarian and then a vegan. So for the first 5 years of my life, I think my yoga practice was purely physical. Then it moved into something more spiritual, more emotional. It helped me to get in touch with my emotions, how to be comfortable with my vulnerability, eventually opening me to a broader spiritual picture, to understand why things happen as they do, and to become more accepting, more present with my emotions, and less reactive in conflict and in crisis. And so the practice meets you where you're at, and as you get more comfortable in your own skin and confident in the pathway, you continue to evolve, grow, and change as you mature on your path. So the practice continues to help me to grow. My change isn't finite, it's infinite. And the yoga practice did all of that, continues to do all of that for me.
And basically we all heard about the basic of the yoga is hatha yoga, and but now we see in the world we have different variation in a yoga. So what kind of yoga you teaches?
Essentially, I teach hatha yoga, but it's called vinyasa flow, which just means linking movement with breath. And because it's not systematized, meaning that a lot of yoga systems like Iyengar and Ashtanga, these are systems, there's a methodology that's attached to it. Vinyasa is influenced by different methodologies that include Ashtanga and Iyengar and Kundalini, but also can introduce more contemporary philosophies, including self-help, understanding trauma-informed yoga, integrating prayer. It allows for more creativity, and that's what I appreciate about it.
And when is your first journey toward the India?
The first time I came to India was in 1996. I went to Mysore, which I believe is now Mysuru, and to practice Ashtanga with Pattabhi Jois. And I was there for about 3 months the first time. And this will be my 5th trip to India. I've spent a lot of time here doing work in a bunch of different levels. Besides practicing yoga, I run an organization called Off the Mat Into the World, and we raise money and partner with different programs throughout the world, including India. So I spent a month doing projects in Calcutta related to sex trafficking and supporting organizations that are working to eradicate sex trafficking here in India. So India is a country that I'm familiar with and I love, and I will be back, God willing.
So how do you stop the sex trafficking through your project?
I don't stop it. What our project does is raise money for local organizations here in India that are doing their work is to work towards eradicating it. I'm just raising funds for them. They understand better the culture of sex trafficking than I will ever. So what we've done, we raised $1 million. I funded an organization in Calcutta, and actually out of Delhi. It's a group of women lawyers that do advocacy and policy work. So they work from the system, from the inside, trying to change laws. And I work, we worked with organizations that build what's called halfway houses, transitional homes. So when a young person has gone, if they're in like a shelter, helping to be rehabilitated, getting an education, etc., when they're 18, they age out. But when these young girls age out, they're very vulnerable. They don't yet have the community or the support to keep them from being trafficked again. And so we build homes that are from the age of 18 to 24. It has a house mother. These girls go and they work during the day. They come home to this environment. They learn skills to how to take care of their own home and how to budget checking accounts and things of that nature to prepare them so after they're 24, they have more skills to be able to live outside of that particular environment. And so that's something that's always been very important to me. But what's more important for me is to provide funding for the people who are committed each and every day to the health, the lives, the sustainability of these young people. They're the ones who are going to actually end sex trafficking. What I can do is help raise money, and that's what we do through the yoga community.
And so this is your first yoga festival, or you regularly come in this yoga festival?
To the International Yoga Festival, this is the first time that I'm here, and I love it. It's been wonderful. It's joyous, and I love how inclusive. Where I'm from, as a white person, I'm the majority, and it's so nice to be in a place where there's so much color, ethnicity, religion, diversity, and where I'm not the minority. Where I'm not the majority. That's unusual, and it's really beautiful to be a part of a collective that does have so much diversity in it. I'm honored to be here.
And whenever you walk on the street in USA and you found that children are taking drugs and things, what will you say to them?
What do I say to I think the question is a little bit more complex. Drug abuse is pandemic throughout the whole of the world. It's also systematized in a lot of ways. Very often people use drugs for a variety of reasons. Addiction is something that needs to be addressed, whether it's drug or food or sex. I don't know if I would say something to a particular child that I don't know on the streets and say anything to them. That would not necessarily be my place. But I certainly work in a lot of environments where children and young people are not actively using, but they're in recovery. And my work is to provide and give them tools and community fellowship so that they can feel the support to be able to become substance-free long-term. Again, it's very, very complex, and it's something that my hope is, with the work that I do, can help young people to be able to manage their trauma, their big feelings, and their life circumstance without having to anesthetize and run the risk of addiction.
And in your class, there's lots of women are coming, which is suffering from a trauma, and the other part of they have we can say broken by their emotions. So how you will treat to them people, even in a man and woman. So what is the favorite asana or a favorite technique you just share with them so they can get benefited on their life and move on for the motivation to this? They can stand on their feet and go, run their life cycle in a regular way.
There's not one pose or one prayer or one philosophy that eradicates trauma instantaneously. It's a practice and a commitment to that practice and faith, a willingness to do the inner work necessary to reframe the narratives that they've become attached to or are defined by. Getting on the mat, moving and breathing and discharging the energy is one of the many ways in which we can release trauma and feel more connected to source. My job is to facilitate those environments and give them an opportunity in a safe way for them to see a bigger spiritual picture once they're able to release some of that tension. But it's not a quick fix. I wish it was a one and done, but it's not like that. It's a practice.
So you mean to say is that you are just an instrument and let the things work automatically with the divinity?
Yeah. Well, my work is I'm a facilitator. So I facilitate environments for internal change. The work, though, is within them and their relationship to God. It doesn't go through me into them. I just have the articulation and the skills to hold that space responsibly, but the work is within themselves.
It was a pleasure speaking with you in the International Yoga Festival. And would you like to visit once again in my city?
I intend to. I hope to be here many, many times. It's my hope. Everyone in Rishikesh have been amazing to me. The people are incredible, and I feel at home here, so I'll be back.
So this is your second home, we can say.
Yes, this is my second home. Thank you.
Namaste. It was pleasure speaking with you.
Namaste.
If anybody want to find you or find your like yoga practices, so what is the best way to connect with you?
It would be through SEANECORN.com. SEANECORN.
Namaste.
Namaste.